Habs Tonight fans and Habs fans, welcome to the Habs Tonight channel. My name is Nick. I'm joined with my co-host, that side, Shaner. Tonight is a very special night. Not only do we have Montreal Canadiens' very own Nick Suzuki, but we have his wonderful mom, Amanda, joining us. So without further ado, let me just shove this background here before Geeks reminds me and I forget. Let's welcome Nick and Amanda. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, doing good, thanks.
So how's the summer been, guys? What have you been up to?
Go ahead, Nick.
Lots of training, skating, golfing, bunch of different events and stuff going around Montreal. So it's been fun being here in Montreal in the summer.
Right on.
So you just bought a house, right?
Yeah.
And Amanda, you've been helping him move?
No, he's
we're not moving yet.
They haven't moved in yet. They've got a ton of renovations to do, and they're building the Amanda suite up on the third floor. So the mom suite, poor Caitlin's doesn't know which hit her, but I said, oh, make sure you put a little wine fridge in there and a little coffee place, and so I can just stay contained up on the third floor.
I remember you saying that when we went to the Ottawa game, that you were already planning the Amanda Den. So I'm really happy that that's in the works for you.
I'm just kidding, though, Nick. You know, I'm sure you'll have us over, no problem.
Yeah, we'll be able to host everybody.
It's a beautiful. They bought a beautiful place, and they're, I think it's really exciting to buy your first home. And it's in a beautiful neighborhood, and I can't wait to go and explore down in the little village there. I think it's and it's going to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, guys, we can just jump right into it. We have a lot to talk about here, and we have to start with this last season here because so much happened, right? I think we talked with Jake Evans just Sunday, and I think we said it best here. It was like a 3-part season, right? The beginning was hopeful but not great. Then it kind of just went downhill, but then right back up, right? So Nick, how did you live all through that and all the changes that went through the season?
It was definitely, you could say, a tale of 3 seasons. Just the way we started, there's a lot of hope and excitement around the team, but obviously starting this season without Pricey and Webby and Eddie and all these guys that we relied on throughout the playoffs is kind of set us back, and short summer and kind of a quick training camp. So I don't know if we were prepared the best to start the season, and you could kind of see that we didn't start very well. Then it was a pretty dark time through a bunch of losing streaks and not winning many games. So, but obviously when we switched a ton up, management, coaches, everything like that, the turn, everyone could see the turn, and especially the players, we started playing a lot better and having fun again.
Yeah, I mean, the Habs became the most exciting 32nd place team in the league. Like it was fun to watch. But we have to talk about Martin Saint-Louis, right? Because I mean, how did you find out that a legend, a Hall of Famer, was going to be your coach?
There's a bunch of rumors on who we were going to hire. Some guys with experience, some guys maybe with less, and Marty kind of came out of nowhere. No one was really talking about him for the head coach job, and right away I was super pumped just to learn from the legend himself. And he's such a smart guy, amazing coach, and we're lucky to have him now.
Amanda, I'm going to jump this over to you here, asking, so you see how the boys, how everything changed when they changed that relationship with Kent, Jeff, Martin. So how is it from a mom's side of things to see how the team was doing then versus how it's doing now? What's it like for you to see that big change?
Well, it's hard to see them struggling as a team, and then it's also hard to see, not getting the success that all their hard work is doing for them. Mm-hmm. So it needed something, like, as everyone could see that something had to change, and it wasn't from I think the players were doing their best, and so were the coaching staff. But sometimes you just need to make a change to see what happens. And that's just life in general. Sometimes you have to switch things up, to shake things up, and you get a different response. Mm-hmm. So, I felt for Nick, and because I could see that, they're upset when they lose, and they're playing, they looked really good in the first period, and then something happened, and then something happens in the second period, and it's too late in the third period to pick it back up. So, I just feel for them, like, as any mom would be. You worry about your kids and their mental health, and are you doing okay? But Nick's pretty good. He's always been a kid that just washes off his back. Like, he's in the moment, he focuses in the moment. Something happens, and then he just shakes it off and moves on. Next day's a new chapter, fresh start.
I'm glad you bring that up, because that was going to be another question of mine. Is we always talk about, I guess, the negativity that surrounds social media, especially with players. Nick, I know you're on social media and stuff, but as a mom, what's it like to see negativity towards your family? How does that impact you and your family? People don't talk about that side.
No, we've dealt with the negativity from a very early age. When Nick was in just AAA, it started even back then. And it's just, some people, just because they're anonymous on social media, or they can be anonymous on social media, and they just feel that they can just throw out anything out there against you personally, or they don't even really know you, but they throw out all these things against you or about you, and they're not true, and there's no validity to them. And, I think early on in Nick's hockey development, I had to learn to shut it off and just to ignore it. But it really impacted me, especially on Nick's team growing up. It really did bother me a lot. And it was really hard for me to interact with some of the team families, because I knew it had to be one of them that might have been doing it. I don't have any evidence of that, but that, it did impact me, and it hurt me. And, but, I just, I just have to get through it. And we did get through it. And then just seeing all the negativity about the team members, and it's horrific. It's just horrendous. Like, it hurts me, and they're not even my kids, and they're saying all these things about certain players or certain coaches or certain whatever. It's on every team. It's not just the Montreal Canadiens. It's everybody. It's everywhere. And I don't know what to do about it, because it really needs to stop, because it does impact a lot of people's mental health, and we've got to stop it. We've got to start being better.
Yeah. And Nick, you're the mental health ambassador for the Montreal Canadiens. So can you take us a little bit as to what that role is for you? What does that mean for the fans? Is there anything specific that you do on a daily? Just take us through what that means for you as well.
Yeah, for me, being a player, you try not to look at that stuff, and there are a lot of things online that are said about you and your teammates and people involved in your organization, but can't really worry about that stuff. We always talk about it in the room, that we see what's going on, we know how to handle it and do it ourselves, and the outside noise isn't really going to affect us, because the players stick together, and the coaches and management are along the ride with us. So it's a really team bonding experience to just go through that. You can get out and play well. On the side with mental health, being an ambassador for that, a lot of guys do a great job of promoting Bell Let's Talk Day and supporting different foundation and stuff like that for mental health. It's something that everyone needs to talk about. It's getting better, but we're still not there yet, and I think we're headed in a pretty good direction though.
Well said. Well said. So if we touch on the rebuild now that's going through, obviously there's many losses. That's, the downside of a rebuild is there's casualties. How have you dealt with all those trades? I mean, seeing friends go and unexpected trades too.
Yeah, it's a crappy part about hockey. Trade deadline was pretty tough. We saw a lot of great guys go. We didn't really know who was going to be traded, and then it kind of turned into more guys than we thought. So just seeing a bunch of great teammates and guys go was a tough part, but I've been dealing with that since junior. You kind of get a tough skin for it, but you always wish them the best, and watching a ton of them throughout the playoffs, so it's fun to watch.
I mean, speaking of, one of our favorites, right? Artturi Lehkonen went on to lift the cup. Did you follow that cup run for Colorado?
Yeah. I sent him a text because obviously Colorado had a great shot of winning, and I just told him to go out and win it, and then he got the game-winning goal for the Stanley Cup. So
2 years in a row.
Yeah, it was pretty special to see him lift the cup. I took a video on my phone and sent it to him, so it was awesome to see him do that.
That's amazing. Shout out Lecky.
Yeah, I think the whole fan base was pretty supportive of him lifting the cup. It sucks to see now. He's been so underrated for so many years by so many fans, and now we see what we're missing when we're watching the Habs play right now is, man, we wish we had Lecky. So we're very happy for him, and we're very happy for his new contract too. Big man got paid, and that's what matters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shayner, I'm going to let you ask your next one.
Yeah, this one goes to Amanda. Like, speaking about trades, Nick, you were traded pretty early on in your career. You hadn't even played a game in the NHL yet. So, Amanda, how did you process Nick being traded so early?
We were in actually Vegas at the time that the trade was announced, and we were sitting we had just watched him play one of the rookie games because they were at a rookie tournament. And my sister was with us, my brother-in-law, and Rob and I were sitting there having beverages. And then all of a sudden, Rob just lifted up his phone, and he got a message from one of the Las Vegas followers that he chatted with. And he said, "Oh, I'm really sad to see Nick leave, and we're going to miss him in Vegas." And I'm like, and Rob's like, I think Nick's just been traded. So we looked, and of course, we found out on Twitter that Nick had been traded, and his agent was there that night too in the restaurant that we were at. So Rob goes over and talks to Dave, and so we were all a little bit shocked, but very grateful that we were there. And I think you were only 18, Nick, at the time. And I just think it was really, I was glad that we were there to support him through that, because it is a shock. I think he was called in by the GM and basically said, pack up your stuff. And what was really nice though, and kudos to the Vegas organization, is that they're, I think, who was the gentleman, Nick, that walked you back over? He was
Will. He's our player development guy. Yeah,
player development guy. Basically said, Nick, let's get your stuff. And then he walked him across the road and just, and brought him to us and brought him to the table and shook our hands and said it was really nice to get to know Nick and the family. And, but again, we just said, this is the business that we're in. This is what's going to happen. It's, it was totally a business transaction. And that's what I think we ended up chatting away with Nick about. And then Ryan McGill came over and sat with us. And that was really nice. And he offered us anything, any help or assistance that Nick needed. So we had a lot of support that night. And, and the next day we went to the Hoover Dam, and we had a nice family day with Nick that we weren't expecting. And we got our damn picture at the Hoover Dam, the damn family picture at the Hoover Dam. And then, the next day, I think there was a couple of interviews and he had to do, and then we flew back to London, and Nick flew directly to Montreal, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So Nick, how was your reaction learning that you were heading to the Montreal Canadiens organization, the mecca of hockey? How was your reaction to that?
Yeah, it was definitely a shock at first. I had a couple of days to let it sink in, and had a good call with Berge when he traded for me, and got me pretty excited to be coming to Montreal. And obviously, haven't looked back since. I love being here, and probably one of the better things for my career and where I am today. So I'm very lucky that it was able to happen.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
We are. We know obviously this has been surrounding you for many months now, that your name is being thrown around to wear the C on your shoulder for the organization. So you can't reveal anything as to what's going on in discussions, but can you tell the fans what it would mean for you to have the C on your jersey? And Amanda, afterwards, just as a follow-up, what would it mean to see Nick wearing the C for the most decorated franchise in NHL history?
Yeah, for me, it'd just be a huge honor, especially following in the footsteps of the players that wore the C before. And just to be able to be the leader on the team. I've always wanted to try to be a captain and maybe in the NHL one day. So I've been lucky enough to wear the C before, and it's a huge honor for you as an individual, but there's a lot of things that you have to deal with. Just representing your team, your community, being able to do different things around the city, and be in the face of kind of charity events and stuff like that. So it would be something that I would love to do. And if I were given that honor, I'd be truly grateful and ready to go for that.
How about that?
Yeah, it would be an honor for Nick, and it's a lot to be given to a 22, 23-year-old. And I think he would do a fantastic job, but he would also be very supportive of whoever became the captain. And so, I mean, obviously we'd be extremely proud of him. We are proud of him no matter what. And he'll just be Nick, and he's a leader no matter what. If he has an A or a C on it, he's always been a leader, and he's a quiet leader. That's just who he is and how he's always been. And he's a great teammate, and he'll just be a supportive person, teammate in that room, no matter what. Whatever happens.
Yeah, no captain can do it alone.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have so many guys that are leading every single day. New guys step up all the time to speak. So even with when we had Webby, obviously he was a huge leader and big presence in the room. And but all the assistant captains that I've had, other older guys that have been around, like we had Corey Perry and Eric Stahl, and obviously Pricey, guys that have played at such a high level. They don't wear letters, but they're involved in everything. They help all the young guys out, and I've had great guys to learn from, and just being able to pass some of that knowledge to younger guys coming in. Obviously, we're going to be a pretty young team, so just supporting those guys is going to be important.
Sounds like we're in good hands. Getting me excited, and I know the fans as well watching this are beyond pumped. I mean, one of the biggest things this summer for the Habs and for you as well, since you were there, was the draft, right? Having it be in Montreal, the first overall pick, all the hype surrounding it, and you happened to be there, and you ran into one of our co-hosts, Marco. Shout out Marco. Shout out Chris Weidman as well. What a beauty. Yeah. But what was that experience for you? Like, you sat at the table with all the direction, and you even went on stage when the pick was announced. That must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a cool day. I ran into all the management and Jeff Molson at dinner the night before, actually. They were sitting at a different table, and I just popped over, and Gortz asked me if I wanted to go up on stage, and I didn't really know if he was being serious or not. Wow. And I didn't even know I literally walked down to the stage about 10 minutes before we picked, and I was like, "Do you guys want me on stage or not?" And they're kind of locked into just being prepared for the pick, but they said, "Yeah, just come up with us," and it's great to experience that and kind of live the draft through. I've lived it through 3 different angles as a guy getting picked with my brother, and now being on the stage for a pick, so it's pretty cool.
Did you know that Slav was going to get picked over Shane Wright, or was it a complete surprise to you as they announced it?
Yeah, I had no idea walking up there. I was trying to take a peek at the paper to see what our rankings were looking like, but I didn't want to look too hard to get caught, so we'll see. Wow. It was pretty cool though.
And I mean, the other big thing that night was the trade, right? Well, the 2 trades essentially, right? Romy to the Islanders, and then you bring in Kirby Dach. Were you aware that was going to happen, or were you shocked?
No, yeah, no one told me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the players don't really get to know that kind of stuff, but I was up in the box with the Molson family and Wides, and my dad was there. And obviously when Bettman went up and said we have 2 trades and they both involved the Canadians, the crowd went nuts. I think you guys were there. So
yeah,
we were.
Yeah, so it was a great reaction. First off, hearing Romy that was getting traded was tough to hear, and me and Wides were like pretty shocked about that one. But obviously getting a guy like Kirby, pretty exciting. My brother has played with him a few times, so we know them a little bit. So I think he's really excited to get up to Montreal, and hopefully he can turn into a great player. And so I think we're going to help him as much as possible.
Right on. And you mentioned your brother here. I have to push this agenda because I've been pushing for Ryan Suzuki on the Habs. Okay, Kent, if you see this, make it happen. We need to reunite the brothers, please. But listen, hypothetically speaking, right, Amanda, if both of your sons play for the same team, how awesome would that be?
It just makes things so much easier to handle. But it is what it is, and Ryan's got his path, Nick has his path, but it would be so nice to have them on the same team. But I've always asked for that since they were young. They never were able to play on the same team because it would have been so much easier.
But how is it like cheering for 2 different teams? Like,
yeah,
I don't even know how one would do that.
Yeah, it's when they were in the OHL. When they played together, Owen Sound and Barry used to play together quite a bit. And I would wear one Owen Sound mitt and one Barry mitt. And I would sit on one side with the parents of one team on one period. And then we would switch and move over to the other side for the other period. And it was back and forth. And I think the first there was, I think it was during the preseason, Nick, you and Ryan faced off against each other that first game. And
yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah. And then I think you gave, or did Ryan tap you on the back of the legs, or you did something and you got a penalty for it and something like that? I don't know what happened, but you got sent to the box.
You were mentioning this to me back in Ottawa when we met up, that Ryan was maybe going for surgery or something. So we just wanted to check up on how he's doing.
He's doing
his recovery.
He's doing fantastic. He went and had a herniated disc. And so they had to go in, it was about 5 and a bit weeks ago, we went to Toronto and had an amazing doctor, Dr. Lewis. Shout out to Dr. Lewis, because he was great.
Habs fan.
Oh, huge Habs fan.
We love Dr. Lewis.
And I came up after, like, I didn't know if he knew who Suzuki was. I don't know. And then we went in and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know your brother plays for Montreal." And he was a very, very quiet man. And anyway, he shows up after the surgery and he's in his scrubs and he has a Montreal Canadiens scrub hat. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's fate.
It's fate. Anyway, so Ryan did that. Yeah, it was a good, great success. And hopefully Ryan's rehab has gone really well. Then he's seeing a physiotherapist. And so I think we got the green light to go back to skating. So hopefully he'll get on. They're off to Boots and Hearts this weekend, so maybe next week he'll get onto the skates. So
send him our best.
I will.
Best
Thank you for asking.
No problem. Obviously, big surgery, so we're happy.
Yeah, we were a little. We were, you're as a mom, any kind of surgery is scary to go through, and Ryan's had his fair share of issues. Lacerated kidney. He's lost vision in one of his eyes from a stick, and now this. So he's had his share. I think he's done. So I just want him to. I think.
Let's hope he's done.
Well, like all these injuries. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
For
sure.
He's had his fair share.
We were going to play a game of Would You Rather at the end, but I feel like we need to ask this now since we're on the topic. So it's going to be for both of you, but would you rather see Nick get into a fight or block a shot from prime time Shea Weber?
I don't want to see Nick get into a fight.
I'd rather fight than take a slap shot from Webby. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, you almost got into it there with Spezza and Hall last season against Toronto, right?
Yeah.
It was like 5-0 game, and then you just lay Hall out, and then Spezza went after you. Were you a little scared there? Spezza's a big boy.
No, I don't know. I don't think he really was gonna fight, but I don't know, just kind of jump in for his teammate.
Yeah.
That'll leave Habs, so it's always fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the rivalry is definitely still active. Were you speaking of the Leafs, just out there while we're talking about it, were you surprised by their run this playoff again? Were you expect them to finally break the first round curse and head to the second round this year? Yeah.
It's the first time I was cheering for Tampa, so
I think that was all of us.
Yeah. It was weird cheering for the team that beat you last year, but turned out pretty good.
Yeah. I remember you saying last year when you came on the show that as soon as the Lightning won the Stanley Cup, that you went back onto that bench and you watched Tampa Bay celebrate with the Stanley Cup, thinking that, I want to be back in this mindset and think of this every time I need to win. So I wanted to ask you, how is it getting back to that mentality of we want to get back to the Stanley Cup, but you're also in a rebuild mode? How is that for you guys to handle, to have set expectations, but knowing that it's going to take a little bit longer in progress?
I think as players, it's our job to make sure the rebuild's not 5 years. I think we have a ton of great young pieces, a ton of good leaders to learn from and that want to be a part of it. And I feel like we can be pretty competitive next year, even with the style that we play. I think we can surprise a lot of teams. And maybe the year after we can add a few pieces and try to make a playoff. So that's kind of my vision. I don't know what management has in store for us, but I think as players, it's our job to go out there and win games and not really worry about where we finish and trying to get a high pick. That's not what we're worried about. We just want to go out and win.
Right on. Yeah. So, I mean, this season was forgettable in a sense where, okay, you want to forget about it and move on, but you had a career year and you were even named an all-star. What was that experience like for you and meeting guys like Patrice Bergeron and getting to interact with, great hockey minds?
Yeah, that was a really cool experience. I've never really gotten to meet a ton of those guys, and just to be around them and watch them and see what they do. And obviously meeting Bergeron was really cool for me, and Chantel really made sure that meetup was going to happen. And just to see the way he handled his business, even at the All-Star game, he was getting ready for the skills competition and playing in the 3-on-3 game. So he takes it very seriously, and he was a great guy to meet, amazing dude.
Speaking of the skills quickly, the skill you did there, the shooting the puck on the circles on the water, how weird was that? Like, how do you prepare for something like that?
Oh, you don't. But I'll tell you a story. We were flying to Vegas from Montreal, and my hockey equipment and sticks and luggage didn't make it, so I had to use someone else's stick from the Golden Knights and these new gloves, and was not fully prepared for that event without my stuff. so it felt pretty weird. But we got the luggage and the equipment in the next day, so we had to make sure that Air Canada got it in time for the game and being out there for the skills competition.
Oh man, terrible.
Wow. I want to touch quickly, because this is becoming the perfect duo right now on the Montreal Canadiens, is you and Cole Caulfield. So Cole came in at the end of the end of the season last year, had an incredible playoff run with you guys. And this year, you guys are both playing on the same line. Let's talk about your relationship with Cole. You guys are spending the summer together right now too. Talk about his improvement under Martin Saint-Louis and the type of player that he's becoming right now. He's getting more and more comfortable. He's going to have a full year this season. So how's that going to go?
I'm sure it's going to go pretty good. He's an amazing player, a ton of fun to play with. I think right when Marty came in, he had a lot more energy. He was ready to go. And obviously Marty kind of played the game similar to Cole, and just the way he reacted right from the first game and just how he carried it through the whole season is the Cole we all expected. And I know he had a tough time not scoring at the beginning of the season, and getting sent down was pretty tough to see just him lose that confidence. But he got it back pretty quick, and he's going to be an important player and for us and for a long time. So I'm excited to get him back in camp. He's actually not in Montreal right now, but I'm going to go see him in a couple of weeks in Michigan. So we'll be hanging out down there.
Right, you guys are going to be seeing the Petrie family as well while you're around. I saw that Cole was with Jeff the other night.
Yeah. Hopefully Jeff invited us over. So we'll go see everybody and see the boys and Julie.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're talking about the Petries here, Amanda, I'm going to bring you in and ask you. So we were talking before the show started, and you have a great story about the Petrie family. So I'm going to invite you to share that with us and talk about the legacy that they left behind with you.
Yeah, well, I was telling you guys at the beginning that Julie was the first Canadians family member we met when Rob and I came. I think Grandma was with us too, Nick, right? Yeah. And we got down to the family room, and we were just like, we didn't know what we were doing. Like, we didn't know what the process was. So we were just still kind of learning the ropes, I guess. And I didn't know who she was. All I saw was she was, dealing with a baby and two little, toddlers. And I was like, wow, like that's a lot of work. And then she's like, hi, who are you? And we're like, oh, we're Nick's mom and dad, Nick Suzuki's mom and dad. She's like, oh, welcome. I'm Julie Petrie and blah, 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 blah. And she welcomed us, and we just started chatting away with her. And she's such a warm and inviting, mom. You could tell that she's a very caring person, just so sincere and authentic person, just so warm. And, I do keep in touch with her. Of course, I follow her on Instagram. And so I comment, and sometimes I'll chat. If Jeff was having a great game or he had a great goal, I'd be cheering him on and saying, congratulations, it was a great goal. And we'd be like, how are the boys? And when they were sick, I think I reached out to her and I said, oh yeah, Nick had that as a kid. And, I totally understand what you're going through, and, hope the boys are okay. And just that kind of stuff. And she's so always engaged and always responded, and, very, I feel like she's just a really, she's a great person.
How tough.
Yeah. And sad to see them go.
Yeah.
But,
as parents, you obviously make friends with the other parents and the other siblings. So how tough is it? It's tough as a business to see the players being traded, but as a family, you also have to live with some of your other friends being traded. So it must be tough on you to lose some of those family members that you were able to see every day or every game even.
Yeah, I see these, the team players as part of Nick's family, and because they all are a small family, they're like a little village. And so when one hurts, everybody hurts. And I see that. And I saw that in the Petrie family. I didn't get to know Jeff as well, but, I could tell that they're just a great family. And I've met Angela Price. I've talked to her a couple of times, and all the Andersons, Michelle and Gary, the mom and dad, are just awesome people. We met them during the pandemic. I just went up to Gary and said, "Do you have a player on the team? Because you look like you've got a player on the team." And he's like, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, I'm Amanda Suzuki." It's just like we hadn't met anybody. And so, it was nice to meet them that way. And then we met the Toffoli's, Mandy and Rob Toffoli. They were just great. We met them during the pandemic too. And just, I can't wait to meet more parents. And I met Jake's mom at an event last summer that Jake's aunt puts on for Jake lost his cousin. And so it's a memory towards Jake's cousin. And so Nick and Jake did the walk last year. And so I heard about it. So I just tagged along, and then I met Jake's mom there. And so, it's great to meet the other families, because I feel I know them because Nick talks about them, and I feel I get to know them through Nick and Caitlin's eyes. And I feel like I already know them, but we haven't spent a lot of time with them, but they are. And I'm very glad that he has those tight relationships with his teammates.
Yeah.
As a mom, it's great to know that he's got that support all around him from the older guys and then the younger guys too. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned talking about just Angela Price here, Nick. I wanted to ask, so regarding Carey Price, there's still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to his health and his eligibility to play this season. So wondering how the team is doing, knowing that, maybe Carey won't be returning for the start of the season or the season at all. Is there any concerns with you guys? And I guess we're still going to have Jake Allen and Samuel Montembeault, which signed a new contract. So how was the reaction with Sammy signed?
Yeah, it was great to see Monty sign back. I think he really took a lot of great steps and learned a lot. And he was playing really well for us down the stretch, and we really relied on him for a lot of games. So he did a great job and earned that contract. And on the Pricey side, we haven't really heard much as players, but I think based on what he wants to come back and play, he wants to be with the group, and just to have him back at the end of the year, that was a huge boost to us. And it was some of the better hockey that we played playing in front of him. And it's so fun to play with a guy like that. He just kind of makes everyone better, even in net, just stopping the puck behind the net, making plays for our D, making it a lot easier on us. And just to have that confidence that you got one of the best goalies of all time back there, it was a ton of fun to play.
Mm-hmm. Shaner, you want to lead into that 10-goal game and Guy Lafleur? I know you've been waiting to ask that one.
The passing of Guy Lafleur was obviously a big part of this season. Again, not something positive, but I think that surrounding his name, right, what the Habs were able to do, like the ceremony, everything, the funeral, that was so beautiful. And I think it really encapsulated how much he meant to the city of Montreal and even the province of Quebec and the game of hockey, really. So how did that impact you and the team, like seeing a legend like that leave us?
Yeah, it was definitely sad to see Guy leave us there. And just that game that we had the ceremony for him was probably something that every player on the ice will never forget, and the people in the building will never forget. That was something Marty was talking about us before the game, just how much he meant to the city and obviously Canada as well, and the game of hockey, and just that ceremony, being out on the ice, seeing the crowd's reaction, the videos, the tribute to him is something I'll never forget. And it was an amazing game, and the crowd was unbelievable for that. It was a memory for a lifetime for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, Amanda, like maybe you didn't grow up as a Habs fan, but seeing all that was done for Guy and knowing that Nick was involved in all this, like, I mean, Nick, you also gave a great speech at one point. So seeing all of that, how was that for you?
It was a beautiful, tribute to him. And you could tell that the city was mourning the loss of Guy. And it was just beautiful. The city, like, they just did a tremendous tribute to him. And I was at the game, and it was just, I don't think there was a dry eye in the crowd. Like, it was just touching. I've never seen anything quite like it. I was not a Habs fan growing up. I was not a hockey fan growing up. So it wasn't until the boys started playing hockey that I was interested in it. And I know the boys tease me all the time that I really don't know anything about hockey, but I feel I've learned a lot over the last, I don't know, 15 years. I think they've been playing hockey, but, and I've certainly enjoyed watching them, and I will always be a fan of my boys. It doesn't matter who they play for. They are my best players that I follow. So anyway.
Yeah. And speaking on that, I mean, I think every parent watching right now wants to know the secret to raising 2 first-round picks. What did you feed them? Like, when did you know that they were going to be, that they were special, they were better than the rest?
I think Rob will tell you that he saw it. He saw it early on. But they both were so passionate and loved the game of hockey. They hated skating lessons. They refused to take skating lessons. I don't know if, Nick, you remember that, but you refused to do any kind of lessons. But Rob, their dad, Nick's dad, would take them out of daycare on a Monday afternoon and would take them to the local rink, whatever free skate there was, and he just put them on skates and gave them a little hockey stick, and they would just skate around, and that's how they learned to skate, essentially. And they played road hockey. We would put them in their little helmets, and you got them the little mini sticks and the nets and all that, and then they grew up, and they played on the driveway, and then moved into the street hockey, and then, I think Nick I think Nick started around 4 or 5 playing hockey, and probably Ryan maybe a tad bit earlier, but we had to stay where we couldn't move anywhere else because Nick wanted to be a London junior night. So we couldn't move out of the vicinity. And so it was just, when we were looking to move, he's like, I have to stay within the London junior nights area. So we couldn't move outside to play for the Middlesex Chiefs. So we had to stay.
Nick, do you want to talk about, there was a few fan questions here that I've been looking around, and one of them was asking, what is your favorite goal that you scored so far in the Montreal Canadiens organization while you've been here? What's your favorite goal or your favorite
goal?
Yeah. Apart from Markstrom scoring from behind.
I don't know. There's been a few that stuck out right now. Obviously, my first goal with the team, first NHL goal, and the Leafs overtime winner, and then probably the Leafs overtime winner. I still have the puck. Pears got it for me after the game, so it's in my bag that I always have around. So it's a good piece of memorabilia there.
Wow.
For sure.
Amanda, do you have a favorite goal of Nick's?
I can't think one off the top of my head. I think I just love how he kind of deeks around, and then maybe it was one of the penalty shots that he won, but nothing. Sorry. I think every goal of his is wonderful.
That's the correct answer. That is the correct answer.
Everyone is the best.
Yeah. I mean, my next question is for the both of you, just rapid fire. Like, is there an away arena that stands out? Like, Amanda, you're in the crowd. Is there an arena that really stands out you love going to?
I haven't been to all of them, but I love the Montreal's like amazing. We did get down to Florida in April. I think it was end of March, and so we got to see so we went to a Panthers game and the Tampa, the Lightning game, and I think both of them, the Lightning's arena is really quite nice too. So, but I mean, it's one of the things on my list to get down and try to, by the time we retire, when we do retire, we can go and see them play in all the different arenas.
Nick, do you have a favorite arena? Aside from the Bell Center, obviously.
Yeah. I have a couple. I mean, MSG is awesome. Playing in New York. Staples Center was really cool to go to. This is the first year that I got to play at all the different arenas. So Chicago was awesome too. Kind of all the big buildings, great cities to play in. There's a ton around the league, so I can't really pick just one.
Yeah. What about Seattle?
Seattle. There you go.
Yeah, Seattle. Seattle's pretty cool. They have like a window to the arena is underground, so that at street level there's a window and people can watch the game from street level, which is kind of cool. And then a double jumbotron, really nice away room. Probably one of the better in the league. So it's a pretty cool building.
So before we move on to a little game here, I got to ask, I got my colleague Brando here, who is a massive fan of the Slav Squatch, as we like to call him, Yuri Slavkovsky. You have to have seen that video of him on a bike, right?
Yeah,
just shredding the thing. How excited are you to play with that guy?
I'm very excited. Had the opportunity to meet him before the draft, just at we skated with a bunch of kids at Broussard, and a bunch of the top prospects were there. So that was the first time I got to meet him, and obviously meet him on stage again. He's a really big boy. Just being that big at 18 is pretty crazy, and I think he's gonna fit in just great. And seems like a funny dude, so we're excited to add him to the team.
Right on.
I think that's what we've been noticing in the past couple of months, and even this summer, is the team is just having fun again, and you're starting to see the personalities come out, especially I'm talking Cole here, and Slavkovsky I think is going to fit right in with the type of personality that he has. So with Lecky being gone, who is going to be with Gallagher to pull all the pranks now?
I watched Jake's interview actually, and I'm pretty sure he's going to step into that role. So he didn't say that he was going to, but him and Gally and Lecky were all pretty tight. They were always together, so I think he'll slide into that role pretty nicely.
Very cool. So
all right, well, before we let you guys go, Shaner wanted to jump into a quick game of Would You Rather with both of you. So Shaner, fire away.
Yeah, thought we'd have a little bit of fun. So Nick, I'll start with you. Obviously, Nick, you already threw one out, but I want to know, would you rather play a game with Cole's stick or with wet equipment?
I don't mind wet equipment, so
Oh.
I don't know. But some of the arenas are pretty hot, get pretty sweaty, but Cole's stick's a little too small for me, so wouldn't be able to use
as
it
long
too
as
great.
I don't wash it.
That's the one good thing. I don't have to wash any stinky equipment. It's disgusting.
I mean, Amanda, you just led me into my next one. This one's for you, actually. Would you rather have a long road trip to a hockey tournament in the middle of nowhere, or carpool with a bunch of sweaty, smelly kids after a game?
I would do the sweaty kids, because I think it would be a lot more fun. Like the kids would be fun. Even though they stink, we can roll the windows down. Yeah.
Fair enough. Loophole. All right. Nick, I got another one for you. Would you rather train legs with Marty or do a whole practice as a goalie?
If I could get Marty's calf workout, that'd be pretty nice. But I've always wanted to. I've tried goalie a couple times at school practices, but I mean, going up against my teammates, they'd shred me. So probably just do legs with Marty.
Does he still have those tree trunks?
Oh yeah, you could tell right away. All the guys were talking about him.
As soon as we saw that, the whole fan base went, okay, it's no longer the arm squad, it's the leg squad.
It's the legs.
Yeah, the leg squad.
Full on leg squad. Next one's for you too is, would you rather have the hardest shot in the league or be the fastest skater in the league?
Probably the fastest skater. Yeah, probably fastest skater. I think you can do a bit more. You don't have to have the hardest shot to score. So being able to skate by guys would be pretty fun.
Pull a McDavid off, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also for Nick, would you rather do the Wingate or Suicides?
Wingate. It's not too bad. Yeah, 30 seconds. Not terrible.
Guys look
pretty good on the bike, but Suicides aren't that fun.
As good as Slavkovsky? Can you break a bike?
I don't know.
Have you ever tried
it? He's a bit bigger than me, but we got to get him a bigger bike.
Looks like it, eh?
Let's hope Jeff is listening, man. Listen, Amanda and Nick, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We are so thankful for both of you. Nick, we're wishing you the very best season ahead. Amanda, very best season to you as well. You'll probably be traveling for a few games. Hope we can meet up in Montreal at some point.
Absolutely, anytime. Hi, perfect. Dan. I think you're on there. So hi. Yes, shout out to Dan.
Dan and Diane are watching downstairs.
Oh, and Diane. There we go.
Very, very excited to see you and to see you again. So
definitely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for including me.
Of course we will. It's the only way you get
People
to
want to hear from you. Oh, yeah.
Nice talking to you, Nick.
Me too.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great season, and we'll have you back at some point.
Great. Right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Awesome stuff.
Show.
Awesome stuff. Wow.
Nick and Amanda Suzuki, you guys.
Yeah.
The perfect duo. Listen, we're going to take the opportunity to tell you guys to subscribe to the channel here. We appreciate all the likes and everything. And if you want to get your Habs Tonight gear, make sure you check out habstonight.net. We got some brand new Slap Squat shirts that are selling. So make sure you check that out. And aside from that, thank you everybody tonight for tuning in. All 430 of you so far. All the great questions, all the great comments. You guys have been amazing. So thank you so much for joining. Keep in mind, this is not our last interview. We will have them at random. This was planned late last night. So it's been perfect. So stay in touch, and we'll be back soon with some brand new content for you guys. Shane, thanks for joining me.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, you guys. Thanks.